Hi, I'm Jessica Ash, and I am lucky enough to be joined today by Gfon Feng. And he's going to discuss with us how his success came from certain habits that he formed. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us today. And without further ado, I'd love to introduce you guys to Gfon, better known as Feng. Hi, Frank. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Dr. Ash. Thanks for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. And because you really are the example of what I'm trying to do every day. And so I'll introduce you by saying that you are the president of a student organization, number one. Number two, you're running a restaurant. Number three, you started your own education agency. And you still haven't even graduated yet. So hats off to you, Frank.
Oh, thank you so much. It's just my biggest pleasure that I have this chance to have this conversation with you, Dr. Ash. And I'm very glad that I have this sitting right now because of your program and your great, uh, let's say, the educational uh, skills that help a lot of the international students and the domestic students and get a great chance to learn how to become a successful person.
So thank you, Frank, for saying that. And I want to start with uh, the other day when I saw you, you said, "Oh, 4 years ago, I was so young and so immature." And um, but you've really grown so much. And I focus a lot on personal development. And so, what kinds of things do you think have changed inside of yourself over the past 4 years? And how did that happen?
Well, I believe the biggest challenge is English. I'm coming from another country, which is from my mother nation to another foreign nation, and the language change become from the mother language to another language. And this is the biggest barrier that I have ever met in the life in these 21 years. However, I have the greatest chance that I have met you and your great team and learn how to become successful person and learn a different culture by doing up, which is a conversational program. And this is a great challenge, rather than bigger and more helpful than just reading, writing, and do the very, let's say, very common learning skills. But the conversational language program is very, very helpful. And when we have this chance, my English is getting better every single week. And then this intensive program and helped me become a very successful English speaker in about 2 or 3 months. It's a,
Wow, that's
it's
fast.
now, yeah, it's a very biggest challenge, and it's not just me. I'm not the talent. There's hundreds of students and get benefits from the program, from your team, and from you, Dr. Ash. I'm very appreciate for this unforgettable memory, unforgettable skills.
Yeah,
It's
well,
very helpful.
you have been one of our most successful students, and so I don't think that you're average. But
Thank you.
what I
Thank you.
there are certain skills that you naturally use now that you weren't necessarily using 4 years ago. Can
That's
you
right.
tell me what, besides English, what are some of the skills that you feel like you have now?
Well, I believe the first one is time management. So everyone have 24 hours, but when just do the time management, my 24 hours will become more valuable. in my mindset. Um, I set up the time range by every single hour, every day, every week, and in a year-long plan. But when I follow this time schedule, then my time will become very strict and intensive, but very helpful. So I won't waste any single minutes in my life. So this intensive time management skill is very important to me. I think it's a
And
big.
I'm glad you said that, Frank, because a lot and when we first start talking about time management, a lot of students think, "Oh, I can never play a video game." And they feel like, "Oh, I can't do that." Do you still find time to have fun?
Definitely. Without fun, life will be boring. Well, so I set up like a hour and a half or 1 hour every single day just for my was that's a fun time. It could be a video game, watching movie, or plus learning and funny. I
Good,
would like to
good.
share a very interesting uh, learning skills. Let's say when I watch movie, I can learn English at the same time. I can learn different culture. I also could learn some great business skill from the movie. Like there's a lot of great movies that include a lot of stories, successful story actually, that I could share with people. So it's also the time with learning, not just fun. And video games, there's still a lot of you can meet a lot of friends, making friends, having fun, and you won't waste any single time in their life.
So, yeah, these soft skills are important. I want to go back to what you were talking about business skills. Are there any movies off the top of your head or any scenes that are specific that you can think of that from which you gleaned a business skill?
Yeah. Well, the my favorite movie is movie relate to the Wall Street. And this movie has really challenged my idea with the business that how you will successfully learn to become a very great entrepreneur. But in another hand, this movie may have some scenes that people don't like, but I always choose the best part that is more helpful to my business skill. So, The Wolf of the Wall Street is one of my favorite movie uh, and learn how to work strong and have a strong mind. But just learn the advantage from those entrepreneurs and forget about the, uh, let's say, the sense you don't like. So you will be stronger.
Well, I also think that, that movie is very strong because it also, I think, teaches you about where a lack of ethics can lead you. And so
That's
I don't see you acting like those guys on The Wolf of Wall Street. Uh, I see that you learned what not to do also.
that's right. That's right. It's what I using the critical perspective with watching the movies. Not follow everything, but choose the things that's helpful. And now you can see there's different people, and then I have the example to compare, and
Right.
it's another great idea to learn how to become a good person.
And so thank you. And I'm glad you brought up the concept of critical perspective. Critical thinking is not a skill that a lot of 19-year-olds have. They are 18-year-olds. They were raised by a wonderful family and they didn't need to critique anything. How did you make the jump to being able to really think critically?
Well, for myself, be, having a critical perspective or critical thinking skill is quite difficult. Um, when I just growing up, that's right, Dr. Ash. We're growing. Most of the students growing from a wonderful family, that we won't have a lot of chance to read a different perspective, news, or learn from this different perspective people. However, I always create my own environment to learning how to become a critical thinking people. So I meet with different people from different culture, people from Asia, from North America, South America, and travel. I even went to Cuba, North Korea. Then we have learned a lot of different perspective from around the world, Europe, Asian, some specific nations. Then this is a great chance that I appreciate from for my wonderful family that they support me to learn how to become a critical thinking people and with this critical thinking skill.
Hey, that's awesome. One phrase I in particularly wrote down was that you create the environment around you so that you can become a critical thinker. And I think that that's really key. And you may not even know that you did it, but you did. You created an environment around yourself, and that's a huge growth from age 18 to 21 is where you realize that you can create your own space. And with that comes the idea that you have that responsibility to do so.
First of all, I would say thank you to your team and program. Um, this skill is very, I would say, it's very difficult for people to having that to create their own environment. However, when having this intensive program and with you and your team, that when we do up, there's 100 students in the class, and they're coming from a different area, and they have every person have their own perspective. When we having this conversation, that we are learning from each other, just like Dr. Ash, you always said, don't make people always your friend. There's some people in different culture, different area that you actually push me to this great environment. And
Oh.
now I learned how to create my own. So I just get the power from you and your team. It's a
But you did it. You know, we may have gotten you off on the right foot, but you are doing it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm interviewing you today is because it takes a lot to actually really internalize all of those lessons. And it's not just about reading a book. It, I mean, you really changed a lot of your own behaviors and took responsibility for them. And, you know, when you took responsibility for your environment and for your actions, the flip side of that coin, you may not remember, but I'll remind you the flip side of the coin of responsibility is freedom. And because you were responsible, you got a lot of freedom. And so they're both interwoven in each other's. Uh, so can you think of how responsibility and freedom are linked? Like, what does that mean in your life?
well, the let's say the most common is we have a family support when we having the education around, and they pay the tuitions, they pay for living costs. For most of people in my age, in my culture, that is a very common. However, when having my own business and earn money and having my own job, and now we create jobs from the from having jobs to create jobs, and we are all of the family support right now, and now we support the family. So for me, if my parents say, "Hey, I need you to do this job," or "I need you," uh, let's say, I would like you to become a teacher. I would like to become an entrepreneur. And now it's just my own freedom to choose the career. And
That's very
however,
exciting.
yeah, but however, I understand it is very helpful that the parents or family are giving you the suggest. But now it's all in my control. I have my own life, my own business, and it's a great chance for me and my team. Now we are having a bigger team, and I'm trying to affect them uh, to become young entrepreneurs. And They will have their own jobs, their own business, and we are a group of people having this responsibility.
It's amazing that you've gone from being an employee to employing people and understanding how great it is, but what a responsibility it is to have employees.
Yeah, and my measurement to success is uh, how many jobs I created, how many taxes I paid it, and uh, how many wages I paid to the employees. So this is a responsibilities, but I also have the freedom when I lead this entire uh, group of business.
Yeah, you get to influence
Yeah.
people. And I wanted to compliment you on something else that's kind of related. And as the president of a student org, you have to um, you have to work with students, and some of them are young and immature. And then you also have to communicate with the upper echelon of the administration of the university. And so, what advice do you have for students if they're learning to communicate at a professional level, like with a university president, for example?
Well, it's a quite uh, let's say complicated stage for most of people who just came here for the first time. It's not just how to learn become a professional communication, how to do the professional communication, but also the great challenge for them to learn how to speak professional. Well, for me, I was in their age and came here at 18, and now I'm 22. It's 4 years ago, and I was in their stage at that time. First of all, I would like to share my personal experience. I am the example, and I will be their mentor during this situation. And that's the first of all. And secondly, people need to know how university or how this great chance will affect their life. If they didn't get this mind or if they didn't get this idea, everything won't happen. So they must understand how important is this change and how important in their life that they will become young. They will become very professional from young to growing up.
And so I think that what I hear you're saying is if students can understand how important the opportunity is that they've been given, that they will figure out how to communicate with different types of people. Is that
I
kind of what you mean?
I believe because they're smart. I believe every students are smart, and they will understand how important this opportunity has been given by university and their family. So this is a very important idea. If they don't understand, don't come. You if you
Yeah.
don't, yeah, take care of the opportunity, opportunity will forget you.
Yeah, that's very true. I say that often that, in the middle of the semester when some of the students haven't been doing their work, I'll say, you're, you told me that you respect your parents, but your actions, by not doing your work, you're disrespecting the investment that they made in you. And then they look at me like, I love my parents. I'm like, yeah, but you're here for a job and you got to do it in order to demonstrate that respect.
I agree. I
So
agree.
you're definitely demonstrating respect for your parents, but through your actions, Frank.
I tried hard.
Okay, so what are some of the bigger lessons that you've learned from your activities, from running a restaurant? I mean, that's a hectic business, and it's so busy when we're there. And it's what are some of the biggest skills that you think you use running a restaurant?
Well, first of all, I would appreciate my education that I majored in business management. So this is it was my project in the class. from the commerce department. And
Really?
I wrote it down in the plan. I said, hey, I spent a lot of time on that to open the business, register everything, and get the license, employee, financial head. But I said, hey, this everything's on the paper. Why we just put it on paper? Let's make it happen. So I asked my group members. We're in the same project group. I said, group project, and hey, everyone, would you like to let that become truth? And so everyone said, wow, that's a great idea. So we just push it from the paper to the truth. And now we have this location in the college town near our college. This is a first or a most important reason that we are having this restaurant right now. Uh,
Wow, I can't
yeah,
wait to tell. I can't wait to tell my friends that. They'll be very excited to hear that. Okay, and Frank, what are some of the skills you use in as the president of a student organization? What what skills do you think you use?
well, first one I believe is leadership. People are always saying leadership is a very important skills, but I have a different understand for leadership. Just like Dr. Ashley said, period, that if you want freedom and you need to be responsible, like a leader in the group, student org, I spend a lot of time to helping students as a, their leader, which means we're not just spending the time to communicate with people. We spend time to help them get understand the culture, get understand everything they need. Just like you mentioned, period, that most of students are not understand, or not most, a couple of them not understand that how important that this opportunity is.
Some.
So yeah, and we're trying very hard to help them. I help them figure out their career, figure out their goals, and we took a lot of time, just like when I do the business, I'm not getting these resources for myself. I share these resources to my students or to my team. And this is the way that I share my, this is the way I help how to show my responsibility to the community.
That's excellent. You're very well spoken. So sharing what you've learned with others is a great skill, and I know that you have influenced many students to help them become their best selves.
I tried.
So, Frank, what's next? You graduate in May. I can't wait to see you walk across the stage. What's next for you?
Well, the goal right now, we are just moving from the college town to another level of stage to the city, and we have do the investigations, business investigation, and we're moving all the business to the bigger cities like Boston, and also I will have a master degree there. Actually, the large group of us, we're a group of 20 people right now in the college town, and we're all from the young stage, who cannot speak fluent English, who cannot understand how important this opportunity is, to another level of education and business. And we are just making sure everyone will follow the step, and we will become the group of young entrepreneurs.
That's wonderful. I think you said you were going to go to Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Um, so I wish you all the best of luck. You're not going to need it because you act like a leader and you have all of these great skills. But I'm so happy that you could be here with us today. And I hope you'll come back at your next stage and share all of your successes then.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me in your time. Thank you and your great team.
It's my pleasure, and I'll convey that to the rest of the team. Do you have any other final comments or words of wisdom that you would like for other students to know about?
Well, the lesson this is take care of your opportunity. The opportunity will find you.
Okay, wonderful. Great closing. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dash.
Bye, Frank.
Bye.
So that was Frank Feng. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you gleaned a bit of wisdom from that. Bye for now.